The movie begins with a television hostess named Monica interviewing the sole survivor of the Miles County massacre. The survivor's face is now horribly disfigured due to the brutal attack she endured on Halloween night a year ago. As Monica questions her about the incident, the woman recounts that the killer was dressed as a clown and that she witnessed his death after the attack. Meanwhile, someone watching the interview on a television screen suddenly smashes the TV in a fit of rage. It is revealed to be Art the Clown, very much alive. Art then methodically applies his clown makeup and gathers an assortment of sharp weapons, placing them in his bag before setting out on his next spree. After the interview, Monica retreats to her dressing room, where she speaks to her significant other over the phone. However, she speaks disparagingly about the woman she just interviewed, mocking her appearance and her account of the massacre. Unbeknownst to her, someone is lurking in the shadows, possibly offended by her cruel remarks. She then receives a call from a person named Tom, but the connection is poor, and the voice on the other end is inaudible. Suddenly, Monica notices movement among a nearby clothes rack. As she cautiously investigates, she is ambushed by the disfigured interviewee, who viciously attacks her, gouging out her eyes and leaving her face just as mutilated as her own. The scene then shifts to Halloween night, where two young women, Tara and Dawn, are walking down the sidewalk after a night of partying. Both are noticeably intoxicated as they chat about their evening. As they approach their car, they spot a menacing figure standing in the shadows, Art the Clown, carrying his ominous bag of weapons. While Dawn finds his presence amusing and playful, even flirting with him, Tara is immediately unsettled. As they briefly look away, Art vanishes without a trace. Feeling hungry, the two women decide to stop at a nearby pizza restaurant. They settle in, but moments later, Art enters the establishment and sits at a table close to them. He does not speak, only staring at Tara while making unsettling faces. Tara is visibly disturbed by his behavior, but Dawn continues to treat him as a harmless Halloween character, even taking selfies with him, which he silently allows. The restaurant owner approaches and asks Art if he wants to order anything, but Art remains eerily silent. Meanwhile, Dawn gleefully informs him that their selfie is gaining likes on social media. After some time, Art approaches their table and performs a small trick, placing a ring on Tara's finger before silently retreating to the restroom. Soon after, the restaurant owner delivers the women's pizza, but he grows frustrated when Art does not return. When he goes to check on him, he discovers that Art has smeared feces and urine all over the restroom. Disgusted, the owner immediately kicks him out of the restaurant. Meanwhile, Tara and Dawn finish their meal and head back to their car, only to find that one of their tires has been slashed. Unable to drive, they call Tara's sister, Vicky, who agrees to pick them up. Back inside the pizzeria, one of the employees finishes cleaning up the horrific mess in the restroom. However, as he steps out, he makes a gruesome discovery. His manager's severed head has been carved into a grotesque jack-o'-lantern. Paralyzed with fear, the employee tries to escape, only to realize that he is locked inside. Before he can react, Art appears and savagely stabs him in the face multiple times, killing him. Outside, Dawn and Tara remain inside their car, debating whether the clown was truly dangerous. At this moment, Dawn tunes into the radio and hears a breaking news report. Two employees at a pizzeria have been brutally murdered, and the police are searching for a suspect matching the description of the clown they encountered earlier. Alarmed, Dawn suddenly realizes the grave danger they are in. Before she can act, Art appears and sneaks into the car. Meanwhile, Tara, needing to use the restroom, convinces a maintenance worker named Mike to let her into a nearby building to relieve herself. Mike warns her that the building is infested with rats, but allows her inside. As Tara finishes, she finds herself wandering deeper into the building's basement, where she encounters an unsettling woman cradling a baby doll as if it were a real infant. Disturbed, Tara tries to leave but is suddenly confronted by Art, who is lurking near the door. She immediately flees as he begins to pursue her. Tara manages to hide among the cars in the building's parking lot, but Art finds her and stabs her in the leg as she attempts to escape. She retaliates by striking him in the face and limping away. Desperate, she tries to get Mike's attention. but he is wearing headphones and fails to hear her screams. Before she can escape, Art ambushes her, injects her with a syringe full of an unknown substance, rendering her unconscious. When Tara wakes up, she finds herself bound to a chair in the basement. Terrified, she watches as Art sits beside her, methodically selecting weapons from his bag. He then teases her by gliding a hacksaw over her throat before pulling back a curtain to reveal a horrifying sight. Dawn, suspended upside down from the ceiling. Despite Tara's screams of protest, Art proceeds to saw Dawn in half from the groin down, killing her in the most brutal fashion. Fueled by desperation, Tara manages to break free and stab Art in the back before attempting to escape. However, Art retrieves a gun and shoots her in the leg, preventing her from getting away. As she tries to crawl to safety, he mercilessly shoots her in the face, then leaves to reload his weapon. Moments later, he returns and fires another shot into Tara's head, ensuring she is dead. By this time, Vicky has arrived at the location to pick up her sister and Dawn. She attempts to enter the building through the front door, but it is locked. She then texts Dawn, asking where they are. Unbeknownst to her, Art has taken Dawn's phone and impersonates her via text, instructing Vicky to come around the back. Meanwhile, Art takes a selfie with Dawn's mutilated body, mirroring Dawn's earlier actions at the restaurant. As Vicky searches for her sister, the mysterious woman with the baby doll discovers that her doll is missing. She soon finds Art cradling it, and in a bizarre twist, she embraces him in a motherly hug, pleading for the return of her child. Elsewhere, Mike receives a phone call from a friend, expressing concern. However, before he can react, Art sneaks up behind him and bludgeons him with a hammer, rendering him unconscious. Vicky, unaware of the horrors inside, enters the building and stumbles upon Dawn's mutilated corpse. Overcome with fear, she flees, only to encounter what appears to be a wounded girl lying on the ground. However, as she rushes to help, the girl turns out to be Art in disguise. He has scalped the mysterious woman and is now wearing her scalp as a disguise. A desperate game of cat and mouse ensues as Vicky tries to escape. Eventually, Art corners her, but before he can finish her off, Mike, who is still alive, intervenes and knocks him unconscious. He helps Vicky to safety and calls the police. However, before they can escape, Art reappears and brutally kills Mike by crushing his skull. He then chases Vicky, who ultimately manages to hide in a garage. Just as the police arrive, Art drives a truck straight into the garage, hitting Vicky and rendering her unconscious. When the officers arrive, they find him feasting on her face. Before they can apprehend him, Art suddenly shoots himself in the mouth. Later, paramedics arrive and discover that Vicky is still alive. Art's body, along with the other corpses, is taken to the morgue.
As the doctor unzips the bag for autopsy, the lights begin to flicker madly, and then, it is revealed that Art the clown is still alive. He awakens and chokes the coroner to death. The next scene starts after a year later, where we see Vicky surrounded by her family. But when she turns around, we see her disfigured face, and it is revealed that Vicky is the interviewee from the televised interview during the opening of the film. The whole thing about the murder was flashback from the previous year. So, that's the end of our movie. If you've come this far, make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. See you later.